All right, good morning, everyone. Happy April. It's April 1st. So I don't know if you are into April Fool's jokes, but I didn't have any this morning that I wanted to do with you. But I hope you guys had a great March. I know it's been different, but wanted to share just briefly about my No Media Monday. It was pretty great. Didn't get on my phone, didn't watch any TV, just sat in the living room with my wife and my dog and my baby for a couple of hours, just kind of in the quiet. And she got to talk to her sister for a while, and I just sat there and held my daughter and just enjoyed the peace and quiet. It was awesome. So, yeah, shoot me an email if you did that. All right, a couple things I want to show you. I'm going to jump off here real fast, and then I'm going to try not to take too much time on this video. I know that some of these can be long, but I'm going to get you working soon. All right, I'm gonna get my face off here so you can see a little bit better. All right, so this is what we're doing in just a moment. I'm going to have you take a look at this. All right, so this is going to be my new format. Um, I'm going to put it by date, and there are going to be basically three things you need to do. I'm going to try to keep it to just these three. The first one is just the lesson video that you're going to watch. The second one is the attendance ticket. If you're not filling this out, so if you click on this, it's an exit ticket for this lesson. If you're not doing this, then you're not getting credit for being in class if this is your class day. So this is Wednesday and Thursday, April 1st and 2nd. You've got to complete this exit ticket so that you get counted present. So please make sure you do that. And then the last thing is the assignment. So you watch this, you fill this out. It's a Google form. All right, watch this video. That's me teaching you a little something, checking in with you. Exit ticket, which is for your attendance, and then the assignment. This is what you're going to turn in. Right? Notice these two have due dates. You have to fill this out by a certain time, or else you don't get credit. And then you have to complete this and turn it in. So if you click on this, this is from Monday and Tuesday, so yesterday and 2 days ago. It's due 48 hours after it's assigned. All right. So today, my A-Day kids, April 1st, your stuff is due Friday morning by 8. All right. So you've got 48 hours to get it done. That's lots and lots of time. So make sure you get it done. All right. So far, uh, for my first period algebra class, I've got 12 kids that have turned in the assignment from Monday. All right. So I need these 10 to get it done and to get it turned in here. Okay. So again, lesson, this is what you watch to learn something new. Attendance ticket, this is what you complete to get credit for being here on this particular day, Monday, March 30th, for this class. And then this is the assignment that you turn in. Okay? All right, let's jump back over here. I'm going to do two videos this morning. One is going to be the warm up, and then this, which is solving by factoring. We've already done these two things. Okay, these were your first two lessons before spring break. I'm going to jump straight into the new stuff today. All right. So the warm up, that other question, I'm going to do this one on my next video. Okay. And then the last one I'm going to do on my next video is this one. Everything else I'm going to do right now, we're going to start here. All right. So I'm just going to read this to you. It says solving quadratic equations by taking the square root. All right. Remember, the square root is this symbol. It's called a radical symbol. Okay. And this is getting you to figure out what number, when multiplied by itself, gives you this product in here. Okay. So I'm going to say the square root of 9 is 3. Okay. And that is because this number multiplied by itself gives you this number. Okay. So that's just a quick review of square roots. All right, take a look here. In earlier grades, you may have seen problems in which you only determine one square root. However, there are in fact two square roots for every whole number: a positive square root, which is also called your principal square root, and a negative square root. This occurs because of the rule you learned about multiplying two negative numbers. All right, when two negative numbers are multiplied together, the product is a positive number. However, you must still be mindful of the solutions in the context of the problem. We'll talk more about that later, okay? All right, so what this is saying is the square root of 9, it is not just 3, positive 3, but it's also negative 3, right? And here's why. Because 3 times 3 equals 9, but also 3 times negative 3 equals 9. Okay, so this piece right here is the new, so the new piece. All right, so plus or minus 3. All right, so we're going to jump straight down here into a problem. All right, so solve the following equation by taking the square root. Once you get x squared by itself, you can extract the square root from both sides of the equation, which means I'm going to take the square root. So this says get x squared by itself. Well, we've done a lot of solving. So we're going to add 9 to both sides. All right, because you do the inverse operation. So x squared equals 9. All right, well, that's the example from up top, right? Extracting the square root is taking the square root of this side and the square root of this side. Well, what letter multiplied by itself gives you x squared? Well, that would be x. And what number multiplied by itself gives you 9? That would be 3, okay? But remember, excuse me, I'm a little sniffy this morning. This right here is our new information, right? So it's actually not just plus 3, it's also minus 3, okay? So we have solved this particular quadratic function. All right, so the two solutions here would be at 3 comma 0 and negative 3 comma 0. All right, again, because these are the x values in this solution. All right, this is the one I'm going to skip. We're going to come back to that in video number 2. All right, so this one is almost x squared isolated, but we have to get rid of the 3, so we're going to divide both sides by 3. That cancels, so we have x squared equals 100. Take the square root of both sides, because we want to know what 1x is. That's x. And by the way, this is always going to be x, right? The square root of x squared is always x, because x times x equals x squared. All right, what number times itself gives you 100? That would be 10. Okay, not just positive 10, but negative 10. All right, because 10 times 10 equals 100, and negative 10 times negative 10 equals 100. All right, jump down here to this last one. I'm going to take a sip of coffee because it's morning time math. All right, now I'm going to get x squared by itself because that's what I need to do to take the square root. Plus 44 plus 44. So 5x squared equals, this is going to be 80. Divide by 5 on both sides. Those cancel, so x squared equals 16. All right, last step of this new process. Square root of x squared is always just x, and the square root of 16. What number times itself gives us 16? That would be 4. Right? Both positive 4 and negative 4. Right? So 4 times 4 equals 16, and negative 4 times negative 4 equals 16. All right, so two solutions, 4 comma 0 and negative 4 comma 0, right? Those would be our x-intercepts on our graph. This one right here, letter C or part C would be 10 comma 0 and negative 10 comma 0, right? Again, x-intercepts. B we're coming back to. A is 3, 0 and negative 3, 0. All right, so that's pretty easy, right? Not too hard at all. We're just kind of whittling it down to x squared and then taking the square root. All right, so we've got step by step right here. All right, steps for solving. So follow this, all right? So when you're doing your assignment, pull this thing out, all right? Have this lesson document out, all right? So first thing, get the squared binomial by itself, all right? That's this thing, right? This is a binomial because there are 1, 2 terms, right? 2 things. Get this thing by itself on one side of the equal sign. Oh, perfect. This one's already done. Excuse me. Second step says take the square root of both sides. All right. So let's do that. The square root of this thing and the square root of this thing. All right. So the square root of something that's being squared is just that something. All right, and I'll come back to this in a moment. And then what number times itself gives us 16? That would be 4, but it's both positive and negative 4. Now, here's the thing. Just to be clear, I'm going to write this out so that you can see it. X minus 6 times x minus 6, right? So when we take the square root of this inside piece, what we're looking for is what is the one thing that's getting multiplied by itself to give us this x minus 6 squared. Well, we can see it, right? It's just the x minus 6. Okay, so that's where this comes from. All right, then this is weird because we have two signs over here, but I'll show you what that means in just a moment. So we're going to add 6 to both sides, right? Because we want to know this solution, which is the value of x. So plus 6, and I'm going to take just a moment. Watch this carefully. All right, so now x equals 6 plus or minus 4, right? Well, what is 6 plus 4? That would be 10. And then 6 minus 4, which is the other possibility, is, oh, sorry, I said 6 minus 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. All right, so these are our two solutions. So one solution is at 10 comma 0, and the other is at 2 comma 0. All right, so if I went, excuse me, and graphed this right here, this is where my parabola of this quadratic function would cross the x-axis. All right, so again, this is one for the next video. I'll come back to that. All right, let's jump down to another one. Remember, step 1 says get the squared binomial by itself on one side. All right, well, it's right here. Okay, so I need to get rid of the 2 and I need to get rid of the 3. First, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. That leaves us with 3x minus 3 squared equals, this is 108. And the 3 is being multiplied by our binomial. So we're going to divide by 3. Divide by 3. So now we have x minus 3 squared equals, I believe this is 16. I'm going to double check that one. Key. Oh, it's actually not 16. It's 36. That's right. Makes sense. All right, and then we come back to the next step, and then it says take the square root of both sides. So we'll do that. Square root. Square root just undoes that squared, which leaves us with x minus 3. And the square root of 36 is plus or minus, or positive or negative, 6. All right. The third step says get x by itself. That's just get rid of this 3. So plus 3 plus 3. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite it. So x equals 3. That's what I added over here. Plus or minus 6. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite both of these. So one of these is 3 plus 6, which equals 9. And the other is 3 minus 6, which equals negative 3. All right, so our solutions are at 9 comma 0 and negative 3 comma 0, right? So these are our two x-intercepts. Okay? Again, the reason that this is plus or minus 6 is because the square root of 36, what two numbers go together? Well, that would be positive 6 times positive 6 equals 36. But also, negative 6 times negative 6 equals positive 36. Okay? So just take a moment here. If you need to pause, go ahead and do that. Just take a look at this, right? Where is this plus or minus coming from? Remember, there are two numbers that multiply by themselves to give us 36. All right, let's do D. All right, we want to get this x plus 2 squared by itself. So add 3 to both sides, rewrite it. X plus 2 squared equals, this is 20. All right, divide by 5 to get rid of this thing. Divide by 5. All right, now we're left with x plus 2 squared equals 4. Perfect. All right, take the square root of both sides is what step 2 says. So square root of that whole thing and the square root of that is just x plus 2. And this is positive 2, but it's also negative 2. They both multiply together to give you 4. All right, last step here, get x by itself, and then simplify. Well, there's nothing there to do. That's for maybe fractions. Nothing to do here. All right, so minus 2 minus 2. Okay, I guess this next step could be considered simplification. So x equals, all right, negative 2 plus or minus 2. All right, so let's look at the plus. So negative 2 plus 2, well, that's obviously 0. And then negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. All right, so our two solutions here are 0, 0, that's the origin, and negative 4, comma 0. All right, so we are solving quadratic functions or equations by taking the square root. Okay, that's what we're doing here, by taking the square root. All right, I'm going to stop this video. Remember, the rest of our lesson, okay, will come on video number 2. And again, right now you're just learning about this. All right, what you turn in is the assignment. Don't turn in the lesson. Don't turn in the lesson, okay? All right, once you finish this, go watch the, not watch, you've just watched this. Go complete the exit ticket, which is for your attendance, all right? The answer to the attendance question today is, when is my birthday? And the answer is yesterday, March 31st. All right, guys, have a great Wednesday/Thursday, and I will see you all Friday. Take care.